January 19th, 2002. Snow fell in Foxborough as Tom Brady dropped back against the Raiders. The ball slipped loose. Oakland celebrated. It looked like the Patriots' Cinderella run had ended. But then, history bent. Referees invoked an obscure, almost forgotten line in the rulebook, the tuck rule. Suddenly, what the entire stadium saw as a fumble became an incomplete pass. The Patriots kept the ball, tied the game, and went on to win. That one call didn't just save Brady's season. It ignited the dynasty that made him the GOAT. Now, more than 2 decades later, fans are asking a haunting question. Are we watching history repeat itself? Because Shedeur Sanders, the son of NFL legend Deion "Primetime" Sanders, is carving out his own path in the league and already sparking talk of a new dynasty in the making. But here's the twist. Many believe Shedeur's rise was fueled not just by talent, but by another league-defining moment: calls, controversies, and breaks that shaped his opportunity, just like the tuck rule once shaped Brady's. Giants fans call it a missed destiny after they passed on Shedeur in the draft. Opposing defenses say the league protects him like they once protected Brady. And every week, as Sanders delivers clutch plays, comparisons to Brady's early years grow louder. So, did one controversial play in 2002 not only change Brady's future, but also set the stage for Shedeur Sanders to inherit that same crown? Or is this just another NFL myth built on hype? Tonight, we break down the shocking parallels between the tuck rule, Brady's dynasty, and the possible birth of Shedeur Sanders' own.
Fate isn't funny. It's inevitable, unchangeable, immovable. Fate lies at the end of a tunnel, and we're all just along for the ride.
Every dynasty has a beginning, but very few start with a rule so controversial that it split the NFL in half. For Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, that beginning was a snowy night in Foxborough in January 2002. For Raiders fans, it remains a scar that never healed. And for the rest of the football world, it became the moment that changed the NFL forever. The game itself was brutal. The Oakland Raiders had one of the toughest defenses in football, and the Patriots were still a team trying to find their identity. Tom Brady wasn't a legend yet. He was just a second-year quarterback filling in for an injured Drew Bledsoe. Nobody expected him to take New England this far. But late in the fourth quarter, trailing by 3 points, Brady dropped back to pass. That's when Charles Woodson, a former college teammate of Brady at Michigan, came on a blindside blitz. Woodson's hit was clean. The ball came loose, and Oakland recovered. The Raiders celebrated like they had punched their ticket to the AFC Championship. Their fans at home felt vindicated. Brady had cracked under pressure. The Patriots' fairy tale was over. Or so it seemed. Then came the review. Referee Walt Coleman went under the hood and minutes later announced the ruling that shook football. The tuck rule had been applied. According to this obscure regulation, if a quarterback's arm was moving forward to tuck the ball back into his body, it wasn't a fumble, it was an incomplete pass. By the letter of the law, Brady had not fumbled. The stadium exploded in shock. Raiders players screamed at the officials. Even neutral fans watching on television couldn't believe what they were seeing. An obvious fumble had been erased by a technicality. But the Patriots kept the ball. Adam Vinatieri tied the game with one of the most legendary kicks in NFL history. And New England went on to win in overtime. That single call didn't just change a game. It flipped the entire trajectory of 2 franchises. The Patriots went on to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl, launching the most dominant dynasty in modern sports. The Raiders, meanwhile, collapsed into decades of disappointment, with many fans pointing back to that snowy night as the moment everything fell apart. Here's where it gets even more shocking. Many analysts now argue that without the tuck rule, Tom Brady may never have become the GOAT. One bad playoff loss early in his career might have put Drew Bledsoe back under center. Belichick might never have trusted Brady again, and the entire dynasty that followed could have been erased before it began. This is the foundation of the debate today, because 2 decades later, NFL fans are drawing comparisons to a new name, Shedeur Sanders. Like Brady back then, Shedeur is young, underestimated by some, but playing with poise far beyond his years. And just as Brady's rise was tied to a controversial call, Shedeur's early career is already sparking whispers about luck, protection, and timing that could define his own potential dynasty. The parallel is chilling. A single decision by the league, a single break in a game, can shape not just a season, but an entire era of football. When the Patriots beat the Raiders that night, nobody realized they were witnessing the birth of a dynasty. Tom Brady wasn't supposed to be there. He was a sixth-round draft pick, a backup forced into the spotlight because Drew Bledsoe went down injured. He wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the fastest, and he certainly wasn't the most hyped quarterback in the league. But thanks to the Tuck rule, he got a second life in the playoffs, and he never looked back. Brady and the Patriots marched into the Super Bowl against the St. Louis Rams, who were nicknamed the greatest show on turf. The Rams had Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, and Torrey Holt, an offense that looked unstoppable. But Brady, calm and surgical, led New England to one of the biggest upsets in football history. The Patriots won 20-17, and Brady was named Super Bowl MVP. That single run changed everything. Belichick went from a coach with a losing record to a genius. Brady went from lucky backup to the face of the franchise. And the Patriots went from underdogs to a team that would dominate the NFL for 2 decades. Now let's jump to Shedeur Sanders. Like Brady, Shedeur entered the league surrounded by doubters. Critics claimed his success at Colorado under his father, Deion Sanders, wouldn't translate to the NFL. They questioned his arm strength, his decision-making, even his ability to lead grown men in a professional locker room. But here's the shocker. Just as Brady proved the experts wrong, Shedeur is already silencing his critics. He's calm in the pocket, delivers strikes under pressure, and doesn't play like a rookie. Fans see a poise that reminds them of Brady's early years.
Back and
No
watch
pain,
it down.
no wasted
Inside
motion,
the 10.
just confidence. And just like Brady benefited from the Tuck rule, Sanders has already seen controversial breaks tilt his way. Defenders whisper that the league is protecting him with roughing the passer calls. Giants fans rage that their team passed on him in the draft, calling it the biggest mistake since the Raiders let Brady off the hook. Every week, Shedeur's name trends, not because he's flashy, but because he wins when it matters. What makes this parallel even crazier is the cultural weight. Brady wasn't just a quarterback. He reshaped the Patriots into a dynasty and turned New England into a powerhouse. Shedeur carries a different kind of pressure. As Deion Sanders' son, he has the weight of legacy, expectation, and media spotlight. Yet instead of crumbling, he thrives under it, much like Brady did when the entire world doubted him. And let's be honest, the NFL thrives on stories like this. Dynasties sell tickets. Dynasties drive ratings. When Brady and Belichick dominated, fans either loved them or hated them, but they watched. Now, the league may have found its new storyline. Shedeur Sanders as the heir to the Brady blueprint. The quarterback who could carry the NFL into its next era. But here's the haunting question. Did the Tuck rule not only create Brady's dynasty, but set the tone for the NFL to always bend in favor of its next star? If so, Shedeur might not just be playing football. He might be stepping into a dynasty that was paved for him decades ago. The Tuck rule didn't just change a single game. It changed the course of NFL history. 2 decades later, fans still argue about it. Raiders supporters call it the biggest robbery in football. Patriots fans call it the spark of greatness. Even Tom Brady himself admitted, years later, that the rule was probably a fumble. But here's the truth. Without that call, Brady's dynasty may never have existed. And this is where the NFL finds itself again today, staring down a new quarterback who is rewriting expectations, Shedeur Sanders. The comparisons are impossible to ignore. Brady wasn't the league's golden boy when he started. He became one because circumstances bent in his favor and he took advantage. Shedeur is in the same spot. His early success has been boosted by favorable whistles, draft drama that created massive attention, and the NFL's clear hunger for a new marketable superstar. Critics will tell you this is nothing but hype. They'll say Shedeur has yet to win the big one, that a few good games don't make a dynasty. But that's exactly what they said about Brady after his first Super Bowl. They doubted him until he stacked win after win. They doubted him until the rings silenced the noise. Here's the shocking part. History has a way of repeating itself in the NFL. When a quarterback captures headlines, unites fans, and polarizes rivals, the league leans in. Rules get debated, calls get scrutinized, and suddenly, That player isn't just another guy on the field, he's the storyline. Brady became that player after the tuck rule. Shedeur Sanders is becoming that player now that if Sanders continues to rise. The Giants' decision to pass on him will be remembered as one of the biggest mistakes in draft history. Raiders fans still relive the pain of Brady's break. Giants fans may be reliving theirs for decades, watching Sanders dominate while their own quarterback struggles. And maybe that's the NFL's hidden truth. It doesn't just crown champions, it manufactures legacies out of controversy. The tuck rule created Brady's dynasty. The protection of Shedeur Sanders may be creating the next one. So here's the question the NFL doesn't want you to ask. Are dynasties truly earned on the field, or are they born in the shadows of controversy? Because if history is any guide, Shedeur Sanders isn't just playing for wins. He's playing with destiny on his side.